In this practice, the players try to improve their ability to look at the ball and look at the defence, and it simulates the ball being released from the contact area. Defenders can be introduced at a later stage. In this technical exercise, the ball carrier number 9 moves back towards the contact area, and then 12 moves to the wider space, and the ball is given immediately to first receiver. This time the defence and attack are from the side. Note the players tend to flatten out, but improve in the second and third grids. Here the players introduce the ball to themselves. Still a tendency to flatten out the line instead of coming from depth behind the ball carrier. Here 9 opens the space up for 10. Now much more effective running lines off the ball distract the defenders. In this attack against a layered defence, note the starting position of the players bunched. The ball is given to a player at the rear.
Change your line, 7. Change your line. Yes, good play.
Changing the starting shape encourages players to think where to go in support. Ball carriers should come off their lines, while support players must offer a choice of width and close support and depth.
Yes, well played. Turn around and play. Go. Play. Good lads. Well done. Good.
Note here the movement as players find a gap, but then the line begins to flatten out.
Okay, that'll do.
Here the attackers must move laterally in order to drag defenders off their defence line and then penetrate where gaps occur. A deeper runner must penetrate, so the shape of the attack must not be flat.
Good, yes. Let's go.
An extension of the practice with the forwards is to use the backs in secondary support. After going down the penetrating channel, the backs take the wide position, and from the ruck or maul the ball is spun quickly wide.
Yes, very good. Excellent. Passing.
This time the players start by passing across to each other, and on the word play, immediately react to where the position of the defence is. It's important at this stage that players again know where their support is.
Yeah, well done. My ball. Well done. Play.
The players very successfully come from the left and provide an overload on the right hand side. Not completely successful, but the principle was right.
That's good, that's fine. Okay, that'll do. You got going forward. Come back again. Ready, play.
Ball carrier drags defender, holds him on the side. 15 goes as wide as possible.
Play.
2v1, ball to the rear player, drags the defender to the left, and into the space goes the free runner. Holding the side defence. If 15 had gone wider and then moved in towards 10, he could have held the defence, allowing more time and space for 4. Attacker 10 should have seen the 4 defence fly across onto 15 and 4 and taken the gap. But this is where they learn.
Pull in, you take the space, go for the gap, go, defender.
Pulling defenders offline is an important part of our game. Here the players must learn slowly in order to get correct technique of going between defenders.
Go for the gap. Good, okay, come back.
The support runner must come from behind the ball carrier and take the space that the ball carrier leaves. Note on this journey some players pass inaccurately and put the receiver in bad positions.
Too fast. No, don't go fast. Play.
Adding 2 groups of defenders side by side increases pressure on the attackers to move defenders offline in order for the penetrators to find the gap.
Good. Turn round. Ready, play.
An attacker under pressure can give a pivot pass which will enable him to push the ball to the nearest support player.
Yes. Yes, excellent too. Play.
2v1, attack and defence from the side. Same principle, hold the defender, allow the attacker the width of the space.
Give him the space to play. Play.
2v1v1 from the side. Defenders must only go when the coach passes the ball. Attack can go when he throws it in the air.
Play. Wait defence. Now go.
The passer supports the receiver on the outside.
Very good. But look where the defence is first, alright, and quickly react. Play!
This time the attackers face away from the defenders and will only turn when the coach asks them to play. The important thing is they look first, then make the decision. The big problem here is the ball carrier normally takes the ball straight to the middle of the grid instead of holding the side defence to preserve the outside space. To be effective in this practice, the first ball carrier should hold the defence on the inside and the other players should make the use of the whole width of the space with one or two deep runners. Now the practice where the coach introduces more pressure and introduces the ball in a variety of ways before the defences can be completely realigned. This way the defence is opened up and the attack should be able to see the opportunities, and it is a highly pressurised practice. Here they overload very well on the right hand side.
My ball! Go straight!
Notice the light blues quickly get into position so they take advantage of the overlap.
Better! Play that way, play that way, play that way.
Again, the players' running lines have improved as they begin to hit the gaps.
My ball, lovely line. Play.
3v2, front defence, single line.
Good, well done.
This time, the outside player drags the second defender, while the second player in the middle takes the gap. You also notice in the last clip, it goes the other way, and again, the first two ball carriers hold the defenders to allow the wide runner into the space.
Play. Go.
3v2, side defence, side attack.
Excellent. Very good lines.
Notice how well the first two players hold the inside defenders, and especially the very good pass of 15 and the support line of the number 10 to the outside.
Play.
Front defence, single line attack. The important thing is here that the players drag the defence over to one side. If you notice a beautiful delivery of 15 and the depth of number 9 who holds his line and comes onto the ball at pace. In Model 1, players are equidistant. They try and play the outflanking game or penetrate. Here the players do not get on ideal running lines and get themselves forced out and then are forced to pass the ball back inside. In a further extension of Model 1, this time the players get on better lines behind the first line of attack and are able to penetrate the defence through the close running support of the deep players. Very much better executed. Single line attack, single line defence. The ball is now thrown to different players in the line, so the shape and who has the ball will always change. 9 drags over the defence and throws a missed ball. Very well executed. Here, first ball carrier, and they both go the same way and manage to get an overlap down the one side. Note how 9 holds his depth, 15 checks the defender, and 9 has a free run. All that in 5 metres of space. I think he's pleased. This further extension of Model 1, the defence is further away. Players still find the running lines quite difficult to get on and are forced across the field. The deeper support runners should be able to come from behind. Note here, again, there's lateral movement, which means the support runners from behind find it very difficult to support, so they may penetrate the defence. Finally, on Model 1, we have a counter-attack game from the defence kick to the deeper attackers. Again, switching movements that concentrate the defence and then trying to play in the less defended wider areas. Continual support of the ball is important, with players close and others in the more lateral wider areas. Here the players accomplish a well executed at the end of the attack.
Excellent.
On Model 1, the counter-attacking game, again here the players are trying to penetrate the defence with deep support, not coming out too laterally. The same principle, the penetration game followed by the wide game. Notice how the player switches the attack to try and penetrate and quickly move the ball along the width of the field, with support again coming from behind.
Now wide, now wide. 2 on 1. Yes. And stop.
On Model 3, here we're against a layered defence, a first line of defence and a second line of defence, and the players have to reorganise their game immediately they break through. Note the defence goes close, then deeper. 2 layers.
I knew if I actually put you under some pressure. Well done, defence. Play.
On this section of Model 2, attacking a layered defence, it's important that the support players come close to the ball carrier and maintain their depth. Here they flattened out too much and made it very difficult for the ball carrier.
Stop where you are. Look where 4 players are. No, just stop. Where are you? Keep moving.
This time the coach has them moving around so they come on different starting positions. This time the changing of angles is much more effective and overlaps are created.
Are we ready?
Notice starting in 2 separate lines, introduce the ball on the floor. Notice the players on the left do not change their running lines.
Good. Yeah.
A better finish.
Bit better. Okay, come in, guys.
On Model 2, the penetration game, we're looking for the players to play close and on the outside. Here they make an encouraging beginning, but keep switching the direction of the attack, which makes it difficult for supporting the ball carrier. Note the coach reintroduces a ball behind the defence to allow them to continue the game forward, but again another player takes the wrong line.
Quickly, go deep, go deep, go deep. Yes, yes, good. Play.
It's essential to come on a close running line, and 2 passes would be ideal before looking for the penetration in the less defended space. The players reorganise quite well, but it's the timing of the pass and the change of direction of players that causes confusion for the support. Playing the same way is essential in this part of the model practice.
Ready? Play.
Finally, on Model 2, the players come in to 2 areas, try and attack the defence that has come from the side. And from here, once the defence is beaten, they will move to the second area, and the coach will introduce the second ball where they run against what will be a disorganised defence and try and play collectively against that defence. Here they find great difficulty because of the change of direction of the passing. Particular difficulty was found here when the defence was confronted. Here, if delivery could have been made, you see the gap to the outside, 4 defenders in. They could still play the penetration game on the outside. The ball finally emerges, but look at the number 6. Where is he looking? At the ball. If his running line was in, he would probably fix the defender. But now the confusion, one support player goes in, another goes out, and the chance is lost. The principle of the 2+1 is a front line that drags the defence across the field with deeper support runners.
All right, that's fine.
In this instance, both support runners should be on the inside shoulder. Here, there is a second support runner behind the first support runner to allow extra support as they go through the gap. Notice the first receiver tends to drag out rather than threaten the inside defence to create space on the outside. Further extension on model 3. Again attacking the first 2 layers. Note the depth of 1 coming in behind, but then quickly they have to readjust onto the second channel as the defence comes again in 2 layers. Can they attack a disorganised defence reasonably successfully with support either side? Here again an earlier ball is given and support of 6 added penetration. The support lines are much more effective now around the ball carrier. Here they have to reorganise very quickly, but unfortunately the line flattens out too much. The coach, though, introduces a second ball to allow the practice to finish.